Interesting stats for Marco Fu there, John, and a couple of things that came through. Not very good over the best of 25s and things like that. He's lost a lot more than he's won.
Thank you. Quiet down, please.
This match is a little bit further.
Frame 14. Marco Fu to break.
This match is, of course, the best of 33. Now, I agree with you, John. I'd be a little bit worried if I was in the Mark Selby corner at the moment. At least the worst thing that can happen, he can only be 9-7 behind. Obviously, he'd be looking at a lot better result than that. 3 more frames to go in this session.
Well, decided to play safety into this end of the table, which is a little bit surprising, as he could have played safe off the red that was by the left middle pocket. No player really likes this type of game. The supplant? No. Well, he's not found the top cushion, hasn't Mark, and this will tempt Marco now, this red, to the far right corner. He'll be a little bit concerned, of course, if he plays for position on the black on this side of the table. He could leave the red at just the right of the green. And because he was worried about doing that, put in that extra little bit of pace and made that pot more difficult. And he still left the red, but that was a shot. But he didn't play it with a great deal of conviction. So a chance for Mark, but digging in, that's not easy. Good solid pot, needs a bit of luck. Where's the cue ball going? Where's the cue ball going? Oh!
1.
Well, that'd have been unlucky. Should he have gone in off? So the fractions favoured him there. Just feel now, Willie, this is a big chance for Mark Selby.
Yes, and everybody will be awake now, John, after that little blast.
6.
Well, I agree with you, it looked to be going in, didn't it?
It's just such an important visit for Mark. The last thing he needed there was a bit of bad luck.
7.
Just the one remaining loose red, so he'll be going into them at some stage from probably the blue after the next red. It's a nice pack to go into from the black, actually. They'd like to go into them from the black. Once again, didn't quite get into that. He's struggling out there at the minute. Timing is not right.
11.
Yeah, he wanted to screw back another, well, another good 6 inches to be straight on this red. I don't know whether he can just roll this red into the right middle and avoid the main bunch of reds to be on the black. Or striking down, he obviously can't. So he needs this cue ball to slow up.
12.
He's run a little bit too far for comfort. The only reason I say that is going to have to play this with pace to go into the cluster. This black is missable. Didn't go full out for it. He knew that the black was difficult enough and he didn't want to miss the black and open the reds
90.
up.
Might be time for a double. It's very rarely a pro plays doubles in this situation, but you can see it could be made as a shot to nothing. Anybody can leave is all he's going for. Just coming round to see if he finishes where the tip is. There'd be nothing on. Okay, there might be a double on for Marco, but Mark Selby's usually very good at doubles.
Mark Selby,
Nothing going
90.
right.
Well, this bottom red is cuttable, but I don't think it's in Marco's remit to take a risk like this. Surely not. Well, he spotted a plant.
One.
He spotted a plant. You can see there, he had to make it. Okay, it was played with a little bit of safety in mind, but he's landed on the brown. And what was more important, as he played the plant, a red has come up the table and he's level with the blue, so just pot the brown, bound to be on the red. Yes, right in the heart of the pocket. So this is a very good chance now for Marco Fu.
Five. Six.
His choice of reds, the 4 reds in a line, the 2 middle ones of the 4, they both pot in the same pocket as the black. But it looks to have a slight angle on the black, but I'm not sure whether he can get onto those reds from here. Played it well.
Oh, he's played it unbelievably well. I mean,
13.
lots could have gone wrong there. It's finished absolutely inch perfect.
40.
And as I said before the mid-session interval, I just get the feeling that Marco is the one of the two more capable of winning the frame in one visit. It's looked a little bit wide.
21. $22.
All the reds there now for the taking. Just little stun screws. Don't know if the pink spot is available. Doesn't appear as though it is. So the highest available, well, the only one available is the
28.
green spot. But that won't bother Marco, the way these reds are situated. 69 the target. When he gets to 69 points, the snooker's required, and he'll be all square in frames. Mark Selby in the background there.
29.
Nothing you can do when you sat in your seat, but you'll be getting a little bit concerned. He's had a few chances and not made the most of them.
Yeah, similar pattern against Karen Wilson. He led 6-0
34.
in that match, and Karen came back at him, but he still managed to get over the line. He led 3-0 and 7-4 in this match. Looks like for all money it's going to go 7-7 with 2 to play. He'd want to win at least one of the remaining 2.
35. $42. $43.
Straight on the black, but no problem. Just a straightforward screw off the side cushion for the red to the same pocket. There you see it,
50.
31 ahead, 67 remaining. 3 reds, 3 colours would be more than enough.
51.
Mark Selby and Marco Fu played this for 11 times, and Selby leads 9-2 in matches.
58.
But he's not playing like he's going to win this one at the moment.
Yep. 59.
Just after sitting and watching now, as Willie said, he's had a 3-frame advantage on a couple of occasions, not been able to press home that advantage. And this black and 1 more red. And this will be the 14th frame to Marco Fu. This red
66.
to go 48 points in front with just 43 remaining. Well played.
67.
Now can concentrate on making another century.
72. $73.
We thought when a lot of the top seeds went out, there wouldn't be many big breaks going in, but there's been loads of them. 8 in the first match, or in the other semi-final. And this will be Marco's second, should he get one in this match.
80.
Well, floated it in
81.
beautifully. And it seems apparent to me, Willie, growing in confidence.
Yep, he's not been put under any pressure at the minute, is he? So that
87.
helps when you feel that your opponent's not going to score against you.
89.
Yeah, any mistake you make is not being punished. It certainly helps.
This would be Marco's 7th century,
92.
should he go on to get it in the tournament this year. And this could well be the 75th of the
96.
tournament. Very, very good from
101.
Marco Fu. Gaining more and more confidence with every century. And more importantly, getting more and more confidence
107.
with every Selby miss. Excellent from Marco Fu. He was 3 behind
114 in
at
the
7-4.
frame.
He's won
Marco
all
Fu.
3 frames, so he'd level the match for the first time at 7-7.
Yes, 2 centuries. He was 3 frames behind on.
Opportunities. And sometimes, Willie, when you're struggling, easier said than done.
Yes, everybody who's played at the Crucible on numerous occasions have gone through spells where everything looks difficult. Even the 2 greats in the studio struggled at times. Mark Selby has to make these chances count now.
I don't know if he can get through to it. There's 3 reds in the
5.
line. I know he's straight on this red to the corner, but if he could get to one of those 3 reds, well, maybe the black goes into the opposite corner, and in potting the black he can disturb those 3 reds that are just to the right of the black as we look now. Well,
Mark Selby, 5.
Now let's see what could have happened here. I don't think he needed to bend it slightly, but he's just hitting across the ball at the moment. He's not finding the middle of the cue ball.
Yes, it looked like he felt he needed to turn it over a little bit, but...
One.
Might play the yellow into the bunch. Oh, that's perfect.
Yeah, that was the line of 3 he needed to move. And he couldn't have played it any better.
3.
He's in the ascendancy at the moment, no doubt.
Four.
It's all right playing the cannon into the red directly above the black, but you need to kiss it on the left-hand side, not on the right-hand side, to be on these two reds perfectly. Didn't even play the cannon.
$11.
We talked earlier on about Marco Breakbill's a little bit different to most, when on 3 or 4 occasions he got top side of the blue and didn't go into
12.
the reds earlier on. Remains to be seen whether that little chance he had there to bring reds into play will cost him in a few moments' time.
Well, surprised the way he's played that red. I thought he'd been leaving himself low on the black to go into the cluster while he still had 1 red loose. But he can't play the cannon now. So imperative that he gets a good angle on the black this time.
90.
68 is the snooker's required
20.
target.
This time he doesn't want to hit the front red, he wants to go in the joint on the 2 reds on the right hand side. He avoided the middle red. He's got one in the middle. Didn't hit as nice as he wanted,
27.
but he'll be happy with that.
Pot success, there you see it. I think that tells the story of this session. 94% pot success this session for Mark Ofu. 86% for Mark Selby. That's the difference.
$28.
Wasn't imperative he got the right side of the blue. In fact, this is the right side of the blue, so to speak, because of that red in the ball end. But to win the frame at this visit, he's going to have to play a cannon.
33.
He's going to have to bring that little cluster of 6 into play. Aye.
Has his tip come off?
Need to go in there.
You're kidding.
Break, his tip's just come off.
You're kidding.
Oh dear. We'll have to have a 10-minute break now.
The worst thing in the world that can happen to a snooker player. He must be distraught. Oh, can't believe it. What a thing to happen.
The tip just come off.
So there'll be a break now, and we'll have to probably go back to the studio. I don't know whether we get a chance to see it coming off. It was only chalking it, John. It wasn't like he was chalking it hard. This is when he's chalking the cue, John. Can you spot it?
Well, let's have a look. But there it goes. Just watch, there it goes, and that is the worst thing that can happen to any snooker player at any time. And the semi-final of the World Championship, when you're really in stroke, well, you couldn't pick a worse time.
Well, the mental side of it is the worry. and obviously he's got a very limited amount of time. I should imagine somebody backstage like Martin Clark is perhaps putting it on. He's a good snooker player, he knows whoever's doing that. Then he's got to quickly run to the practice table to perhaps have a few shots just to get the fact that it's exactly the same, you know, the tip's playing the same, as quickly as possible. And then he's got to try and put it out of his head, because if he starts to worry about it, that's Paul Collier there. Putting,
I mean, the nice pressure Paul's under there, the cameras.
Yes.
Putting somebody's in the semi-final of the World Championships, tip on.
Yeah, exactly.
No pressure.
Paul indeed will be refereeing the final on Sunday and Monday, so no pressure, Paul. Obviously, we've got the camera right up the nose there to make sure you do it properly.
That's very unfair. That's very unfair on Paul. But he's got steady hands. I mean, when he's re-spotting balls, he'll probably glue his fingers to the cue as well as.
He's going to play a bigger part in this final than he thought.
Then when he's cut his fingers off the tip, then he can centre it up.
But we hope it's not going to be a turning point, but might it be?
It really depends on how good a job Paul Collier does there. Because if Mark Raffaello, as Steve says, he'll go to the practice table, have a couple of shots, and if he's looking down the cue and it looks exactly the same as it was, there'll be no problem.
Is there any limit to the amount of time that he's allowed to have here, Steve?
I don't know if I think sort of, you know, effectively as quick as possible. Is 10 minutes? I don't know. Is mentioned. I don't know if that's a legal thing or anything like that. The worry when you're putting a tip on is you need to put pressure on. Perhaps, you know, push that tip against that wall there and put some pressure on to get some leverage on to press the glue away as well. If you just plonk the tip on without pressing down on the tip, then you may not get a good contact between both surfaces. The problem is, if you've got a tip that's flush that you're trying to put back down again, as you press it on, it can slip and then you're not in the middle again. So it is a problem putting an old tip on to get it centred up.
It's also, I think if he goes to the practice table, he could do with playing some shots with a bit of pace, you know, some screw shots and stuff, and just to give yourself that confidence coming back out here, because the last thing you want to do is just go in the practice room, tippy-tappy about, and then have to play a power shot out here.
Well, there's Wayne Griffiths. That's Marco's coach. That's Terry Griffiths' son, and he's out at the Hong Kong Institute of Sport, and he's preparing a lot of the coaches, and he's working with the elite players in Hong Kong, and he's been with Marco from the start, and he's done a fine job with Marco here, hasn't he?
I'd say Marco's obviously trusting him. He's not even in there.
Exactly.
He's just giving them the cue. Just take my cue and put a new tip on.
Well, Marco's currently in tears in the toilet at the moment. He's just crying his eyes out. So,
well, happily he's not. He's in the practice room right now as Wayne makes his way with Martin Clark to the practice room to give him this, and he's clearly borrowed, I don't know if it's John Parrott's he's borrowed somebody. Oh, this Selby, I beg your pardon, there's Mark practising. He's got a smile on his face, but obviously this is a break in his rhythm as well.
Yeah, but interesting to see how we've talked about how poorly he's been playing, and he's straight to the practice table. As, you know, any break he's got, any chance he's got to get some form back. So could be a lucky interlude from Mark Selby.
Regardless, from Marco Fu's perspective, fortunately it's towards the end of the session, so if it did mentally mess him up, he hasn't got too long to sort of wait before he can sort of...
Couldn't actually bend down to strike the ball, couldn't address the ball, but here he is. And let's hope that normal service will be resumed from Marco's perspective. Just a few shots being taken here. Steve, what will he be working on?
Well, he's just trying to check, just to make sure the field's right and just get a bit of confidence on the screw-backs. You see he's playing screw-back shots. He just wants to play some screw-back shots and then...
Indeed. And here he comes, Marco, accompanied by Martin Clark, a former top player himself on the tour. And Mark coming through as well. An unexpected interlude. And Marco, he's had such a wonderful run here to get into this semi-final. As you know, this is his first semi-final for 10 years here, and he's beaten Peter Ebdon 10-2. Fantastic form against him. Anthony McGill, as Stephen was saying. Barry Hawkins withstood that incredible comeback from Barry and got over the line with a clearance of 76 in that match, which was amongst the best we've ever seen. So he's withstood some pressure, he's shaking his head. But well done, Marco. And let's hope that we can maintain the quality from his perspective. Marco, it is your shot.
And he's on a break of 33 as we speak, Hazel. And John, we've never seen anything like this before, but like Stephen said, it's handy to start with a nice easy pot to get a little bit of confidence back in your trip.
Yes, it's just what's going on between the ears, though, for Marco. The way he'd been playing, we thought was a great winning chance. And he's smiling at the audience. Well, That might be a good sign. He's got a nice angle on the blue just to miss the pink and cannon into the reds to open them up and give him that frame-winning opportunity. Played the cannon. Is he on a red to the corner? It's got to be the left corner, otherwise he's on nothing.
39.
You never tell with Marco's body language sometimes, John. Oh, that's tight.
It might just go in off the right-hand jaw, but it's risky. Seemed to hit them well enough. Maybe could have done without just flicking that other red. That's the one that's making it difficult to judge whether this red pots. He thinks it does. Not all the pocket, just half a pocket available. But half a pocket was enough. It was one of those, if you're right behind it, you fancy pinching a bit. If he wasn't right behind it, I wouldn't have fancied him potting that.
Couldn't agree with you more, absolutely. And now a chance to win the frame at this visit, albeit it'll still be in his mind about the tip. I mean, obviously it's been put on slightly. You always favour, you know, when you're playing screw shots, you have your tip
47.
sometimes shapes in a certain way.
Well, that's exactly what Stephen said
48.
in the studio. You always hold your cue, you grip at the butt end in exactly the same place, so you do tend to have a certain shape to the tip. But at the moment, it doesn't look to be affecting him. 50 points a lead.
55.
2 reds, 2 colours to win. Well, one of the most dramatic frames that I've ever witnessed. There's the tip, it's back on. And it looks like somebody's done a good job.
56.
Paul Collier was doing it, wasn't he? The referee, who was refereeing the final this year.
So ideally you want to play a cannon on that red that's just to the left of the pink here and hold for the 2 reds in the middle of the table.
You could just see some super glue there, John, on the side of the tip when we saw that. Look at that, you can see the super glue on his ferrule.
Yep. But another nice judgment with the cannon.
He's not going to make another century, is he, with a tip just
63.
flying off? It's a possibility now.
$64.
So, does black to go 66 points in front with just 59 remaining. It's there. So, fair play to Marco.
71. $72.
What character is showing here is Marco Fu.
74.
Doesn't show much emotion, but after what's happened with the tip, well, that
75.
just struggled in. How well has he done to keep himself together and make this a frame-winning contribution?
Thanks. $81.
Well, he's missed the red, but every credit to him.
81.
Because when that
And the
tip
frame.
came off, you thought, well, what's he going to do now? But he came back in the arena and did enough. And he now leads the world number 1, Mark Selby, by 8 frames to 7. One more frame to play.
And then we're going to see where the tip came off.